All right, so we're going to move on to the next part of factoring. As a review, what we did in the second part, we looked at factoring expressions such as x squared plus 10x plus 21. Okay, so we looked at numbers that multiplied to the constant term, to the 21, and added to the middle term, to the 10. Added or subtracted, okay? So one of the factors when you make a list of factors of 21 are 7 and 3. All right, so those both add to add to 10 and multiply to 21. So the factors were x plus 7 times x plus 3, okay? The reason we had an x and an x over here was because we had to make this x squared. The 7 and 3 took care of making the 10 and the 21, all right? And of course, we also looked at examples where we had negatives in the middle or negatives on the end, and you had to change these signs in here accordingly, okay? So what we're going to do in the next part of factoring is look at examples. Again, we're factoring ax squared plus bx plus c, trinomials of this form, okay? But where a is not equal to 1, all right? In the example we had before, when you just have the x squared, there's assumed to be a 1 in front of that x squared, right? So here we're looking at factoring expressions that have like a 5 in front, a 7 in front, a 21 in front, okay? So here's how we deal with that, right? In this one, we still want to look at the factors of the end term, the 2, which this is a nice one because the only way to make 2 is 2 times 1, right? But we also have to look, since we have a leading coefficient of that's other than 1, we have to look at the factors of 5, which is also nice in that the only way to make 5 is 5 times 1. So the way this is going to factor, all right, we know we're going to have a 2 and 1 at the end of each term. And then for the beginning of the term, we're going to have a 5y and then a y, all right? So let's see if this works. Everything is positive in here, so everything's going to be positive over here. And of course, we're going to multiply out to check if this works, all right? A lot of factoring is kind of guessing and checking. If you're good at multiplying, you'll be good at factoring. It just sometimes might take a while. So this is going to be 5y squared plus 5y plus 2y plus 2, which makes a 7y. And that's not what we want. We want an 11y in the middle. So we need to try something else, okay? So what I'm going to do, we can switch the 2 and the 1, all right? Because we know we have to have the 2 and 1 in there somewhere. The 2 might go with the y, the 1 might go with the 5y. Let's try that. Okay, so we're going to go 5y plus 1, and then y plus 2. Let's see if that works. 5y squared plus 10y plus y plus 2, and there's our 11y, okay? So that's going to be the answer. Again, sometimes you have to try multiple possibilities. It's not necessarily difficult. It's just, you know, sometimes you have to try 3 or 4 times before you get a factor that works. There is another way of doing it other than kind of a guess and check method. If you look at the explain on Alex, there is another way, but I just, when I was in high school, I did not learn that way, and honestly, the only way I saw it, the only time that I saw it is on the explain in Alex. If you want to take a look at that and you like that better, great, but this is how I do it. Okay, so number 2, we need factors of 3, which of course is going to be only 3 and 1, all right, and 7, which is only going to be 7 and 1. So we know we're going to have a 7y and a y, and then a 1, and then a 3. Okay, and the signs, we've got negatives, so we'll have a negative somewhere in our factors. So let's see how this is going to work. 7y times y, 7y squared. Now I'm going to put a minus in front of here because I get we're going to have a negative. This is going to give me a negative 7y, and we need a negative 4y. So if I stick a plus over here, that's going to be the plus 3y, which is going to make that negative 4y that we want in the middle. And then, of course, the 3 and the negative 1 makes that negative 3. So it's going to be 7y plus 3 times y minus 1. Okay, sometimes you can kind of do it as you go to figure out the signs and use your judgment. All right. All right, so for number 3, 2 only has 2 times 1, right? But 21 has 21 times 1. It also has 7 times 3. So we're going to have to try a couple of different possibilities for the beginning terms in the factors. Okay, so what we know is we're going to have a 2 and a 1 somewhere in the ends. I'm going to try the 7 and 3 first. So I'm going to go 7y, 3y. All right, so 21y squared. And I'm going to make this positive. All right, so plus 7y. And I know if I have this positive, then this needs to be negative. This would be minus 6y. Well, wait a second, that's only going to give me y, which is not what we need. We need a 19y in the middle. Okay, let's try something else. All right, so let's put this 2 and 1 back here. Again, we know we're going to have a 2 and 1 on the ends. Let's try a 21y and a y. Okay. So 21y times y, 21y squared. I'm going to make this positive. 21y times 1 plus 21y. Okay, so we need larger numbers in here to make this 19, and we're getting larger numbers. Now if I make this 2 negative, minus 2y, and then minus 2, and then the 21y and the negative 2y make that positive 19y that we want. So our answer is going to be 21y minus 2 times y plus 1. Okay, again, trial and error. If you have to write down a few different possibilities and try them all out, that's fine. Okay, again, it's not difficult, it just can be time consuming. Okay, and here for the 2, only possibility is 2 and 1. For the 30, we've got a bunch. 30 times 1, 15 times 2, 10 times 3, and then 6 times 5. Okay, so we know we're going to have a 2x and an x. Okay, I'm going to try the 10 and the 3. Okay, no real reason why, but let's see how that goes. Okay, if you look at your signs, 1 is negative, 1 is positive. Okay, actually 2 are positive and 1 is negative. We have a negative in the middle. So let's and we need it to multiply to a positive. So we can either have negative negative or positive negative. I mean, negative negative or positive positive. Okay, so let's try negative negative. That'd be 2x squared minus 20x minus 3x plus 30. That's going to make minus 23x. Not what we want. Okay. If we do ever make everything positive, then they can't be. So it has to, let's move on to a different pair of factors. Let's try 15 and 2. So that'd be 2x squared minus 30x minus 2x plus 30, and that makes negative 32x. That's not what we need. Okay. Let's try 6 and 5. 2x, x, 6, 5, 2x squared minus 12x minus 5x. There's our 17 plus 30 negative 17x. Okay, that's the pair that's going to work. Again, trial and error. I know it's a little annoying. Sometimes you need to try 3, 4, 6 possibilities, but if you're good at multiplying binomials, you're going to be good at factoring. Okay?